First of all,
hey everyone, this is Mary Kurek with Frontrunners Innovate, and I'm excited to introduce to you today Lumbie Mlambo. How did I mumbo? Help me with that. I know Mlambo. I said Mlambo. Okay, very good. Lumbie Mlambo. Okay. And she is the CEO and founder of JB Dandolo, and it's a nonprofit organization that she began and has all kinds of benefits for people who get involved with it. And one just thing that I pulled out was working on poverty, but I know that you do more than that. Also a global goodwill ambassador, so we thank you for all that you're doing in that regard. An award-winning motivational speaker. Yes, you just do it all, girl. You just wear the hat and just change it off whenever you need to. It's hard work running a nonprofit. I've been in those shoes before, in that type of space where you're working on organization, and always funding is such a lovely little issue to deal with, along with building out the pieces that you need to have. When did you decide to build this? And then I'm going to go into your background. It just hit me that I felt like I wanted to find out how old this organization is first.
Oh, well, first of all, thank you for having me on here, Mary. As to how did I get into this, or when? I was never really into philanthropy before. So this is something I stumbled upon, to be honest with you. It's something that it just happened, Okay, from just working on a project somewhere that my father was trying to finish, and he had passed away. And while I was at this project, I just, they wanted something that was totally different from the reason why I was there. Yeah. They wanted water. So I was just like, well, I mean, I'm not here for water. Why would anybody ask me for water? I mean, I'm like, well, that's not my reason. That's not why I'm here. So, and because they asked me, they said, if you can't give us water, then you can't work on the project. So I figured, well, okay, let me just give you water then, so I can work on this project. Yeah. So that's how I started, and I just stuck with water, and because there's so much to learn about water, and I just kept on going.
So when you talk about water, you're talking about clean water for places that need it, right?
Right.
What were you doing that they called you away from to do the water?
I was completing a project at one of the clinics in Zimbabwe, in Igosi Clinic. And the project was to provide like an extended maternity wing, so that women can have beds to give birth on. And the clinic currently has, like, I would say 2 beds that are delivery beds and 3 recovery beds. So, and I was there to make sure that they have more beds than that, and to make sure that I also kind of did some refurbishment of the buildings. The buildings were pretty much run down, and they needed to be like painted and the roof replaced, things like that. And then while I was there, they were kind of like looked at me like, wow, are you really here to help us with that? And it's like, there's something more important than, this, health. And I kind of thought, well, that's a good kind of prioritization, because they prioritized water over, the hospital, the clinic.
If that's what's most important to them, that's we perceive things maybe from a different way, but if that's what it is, then that is what it is. So I got into this backwards, and I didn't mean to. You told us a little bit of your background. Go back a little bit further. What brought you into this work? I mean, where's the train? Where did the train leave the station and come this way?
Right. So anyway, my dad used to be a philanthropist. He was very much doing a whole lot of philanthropy in the community, and but he died. But right before he died, at his deathbed, he was asking us to continue his work, just to finish. He said, I promised the people of Igosi, I'll give the women there, delivery beds, maternity wing. Can you, keep my promise? Yeah. Can you go finish my work? So I was like, well, I thought it was really a minor thing, because I didn't think, I really never understood the magnitude of work my father was working on. Yeah. I thought it was going to be something very simple. I was going to go in and just, one day and just get it done. Because my father was never educated. He was an orphan. And I thought that there was no way he could be involved in something that huge. Yeah, I underestimated, of course, his influence and his work. And when I got there, that's when I was like, wow, I found out that not only did I get the location of his work incorrect, I kind of thought his work was in at a place that was more modern.
Yeah, more advanced. Yeah.
You know,
were you
more
in
advanced.
the United States when you went back? I mean, before
Yes.
you were there, you were here.
Yes.
And
yes,
then
I
when you
was.
went back, you just didn't realize where things were happening.
Yeah.
For him. So,
Yeah. I had a different picture altogether, but when I got there, I was like, my nephew kept on telling me to keep going. He said, no. I said, okay, we're here. He said, no, we're not there. I'm like, this is it. He's like, no, this is not it. I'm like, wait a minute, you're confused because I know where my father was doing this job. And he's like, that's not where your dad was working. I'm like, okay. And he took me to a different location. And when I got there, indeed, it was like in the middle of nowhere, where there were no roads, nothing ever got there. You know, I don't even know how we got there. And we parked, and I thought, whose house is this? He's like, no, this is not a house. It's actually a clinic. I'm like, oh, okay. So, but that's how interesting the project was. And I thought, oh, well, so it is small. Then if the clinic is this small, that means everything here is small. I can get it done in one day.
Yeah.
And little did I know that there was more to it than just the look of the building.
This is fascinating. You literally took up a baton from your dad. This was a personal project. This was a project of love, of commitment, of answering your dad's request. So you didn't come at it from the UN or UNESCO or having worked on as a field rep for any of those. This you came into it cold, not knowing what you were getting into.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when you said you were there to finish what he started, the work that he apparently thought was so important, the locals there told you, we want water.
Oh, they looked at me. They felt kind of sorry for me. Like the old man, they called my dad the old man. They're like, the old man had a daughter? This young?
They didn't even know about you.
Oh yeah, no, they didn't know. I'm like, I'm not young. They're like, oh my goodness, you're so young. We mean like he was old, but you're young. I'm like, well, at the time, I guess I was really, really young. I was like, okay, fine. So what does it matter anyway? Okay, I'm here to finish the work. They were like, no. The old man would have finished the work. You, we don't know you. So, how about you just give us water and leave us alone?
Trust. Yeah.
I'm like, water? I'm not here for water.
Yeah.
Water? I said, I'm not finishing. I said, I'm here to finish my father's work. They're like, just give us water and leave us alone. I'm like, yeah, sure. I'll come back tomorrow and give you water, because I thought it was minor, just what could be hard about water, So, but I mean, it took me years to provide that water because I found out, oh my gosh, they really didn't have any water at all. The infrastructure and everything, all that stuff had to be created and built. And that's when I got so deep into it that I fell in love with it. And I was like, maybe that's the reason why I came here, was really to find my purpose, realize what I was meant to do. This is what I was meant to do. And I still continued this work afterwards, because when I gave them the water system, they were so happy that I gave them, I still need to put more beds, but because of COVID, obviously we have to go there later and put more beds and extend the maternity wing and do more. But yeah.
So how are you doing this? Did your dad leave any kind of funds for this, or are you having to raise it on your own for the trips and for all the cost involved? Because I know there's cost involved in building wells and doing things that you're doing.
Yeah. He left nothing. Nothing other than
but the legacy of the mission. So,
nothing other than the promise to the people of Igusi, that he's gonna finish. That's it. No money, nothing. And of course, I didn't think it was that big of a project anyway. I thought, oh, well, it's minor, He could not be involved in something that big, because I really underestimated, what he was doing. And now that I see what he was doing, I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish he was still here. I would really, deeply thank him for the work, the kind of work he was doing. And so we just pretty much have been fundraising, and I travel on my own expense to go there and just take a look at the project out of my own love of wanting to finish my father's project. But some of it is my own funds. Most of it is, from donations from people, and also from a Caring Crowd, Johnson's Caring Crowd platform, where they were matching our funds. and we're able to raise that much funds to install a clean water system and a tank, and to refurbish the clinic, and to provide new roofing and the new windows and new doors for the clinic, and also for the mothers in waiting.
Yeah.
We provided a kitchen now that has a stove and a sink, and even the nursing cottages we also refurbished.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is it staffed well with enough staff to run it?
No, it's not. That's something that we didn't get into, but we did notice that as soon as we started working on the project, more and more people were being staffed there at that clinic.
Okay.
We don't know the workings of the clinic, who pays for them or what. We didn't get into that.
Don't know.
Just said we'll do, all we're here to do is to make sure they have a functional clinic. We'll provide whatever is needed for the people and for the community. Yeah.
So after we get off of this, I need to tell you about a woman that might be able to help you with some equipment for your clinic there.
Oh.
Okay, and that sort of thing. So yeah, she's one of our league members. So we can talk about that. So tell me from your, you have, you are a motivational speaker now. So I'm guessing it's all around overcoming these challenges and actually diving into some work you didn't know that you were going to do, and how you've managed to put all this together. Talk to me about the nonprofit side of things. You decided to do this when, and bring us up to date as to what kinds of activities that you're doing now, because other than the mission that you have that's personal, I feel like there's a bigger thing at work right now. So it's not all just about that, even though that's prevalent on your mind and on your plate.
Right.
What else?
Right. So so my nonprofit is named after my father, J.B. Dondolo, to serve as a constant reminder of the work that I need to do, and to stay true to myself.
Okay.
And just to remain humble, because he was a humble person. So what J.B. Dondolo means, it means a cane or a walking stick used for support.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So I'm providing that support with my nonprofit to organizations and to communities that need that support. So we work with water, sanitation, and hygiene. That became the focus, so that we kind of bridge the gap between that and poverty and gender equity. We want to make sure, because we know that in Africa and other places as well, that people walk miles and miles to look for water. Yes. And mostly that burden relies on the women and girls. So you find that women spend a lot of time just walking to find water, and they don't spend time on themselves to improve their lives, like with learning skills or entrepreneurship skills. And girls, therefore, don't even go to school, because during menstruation periods, they can't go to school when there's no water. They don't want to be ashamed and all this stuff, and they just don't go to school. So we want to make sure that they go to school and that the women are uplifted from poverty, so that they have more time by bringing the water systems close to them. So as some of my projects that I have a project in the US, which is called Music for Water, which is nothing but really finding music, a song that is water inspired, for my organization to uplift people, so that when we share our videos and do promotions and so forth and talk about the work that we do, that we use that music to communicate, because we know that music communicates very well, and it brings people together, and people tend to relate to music and understand what you're talking about more. So the Music for Water is to find that song that is water inspired for the whole year. Each year we do this. At the same time, we're trying to find Skid Row. The population in Skid Row is unhoused, and it's about 10,000 people that don't have water, sanitation, and hygiene. So this year we're going to be giving them hygiene items. So we ask for people to donate on our website when we do this competition for Music for Water. So that's one of the campaigns. The other campaign is we picked up a new project that is called the Water for Widows. This is really the water for people who don't have, these widows lost their husbands during war. It became very controversial how they died and all that stuff. They were left with children. They don't have water. So they walk miles and miles. So we are trying to bring the water systems close to them so that they spend more time on themselves, improving their lives and gaining skills that will contribute to the economy in their community and also to the global economy as well. So those are the two. Yeah.
You are a busy gal. This is a lot going on. I love the fact that you're using music in this in a way that's very positive. I've got a couple of people on my network that use it for therapeutic means and other things that are not what you would think, you know, but that's fantastic. And then your pillars, more or less, then the water, of course, and hygiene and gender equity, along with poverty. So it sounds like in that village that you've landed into, you have all of these issues kind of moving around at the same time. I didn't hear education. Is there something about that that's in the mix of things?
Yeah. So the thing is, once you have women and girls out of poverty and they're no longer are tasked with collection of water, you know, then you bring them up to speed. I mean, you bring them to schools and you provide education for them so that they can rejoin the workforce for those that have left the workforce, and you can train those that have never been in the workforce so that they have the skills, the good skills they need to do whatever they need to do in order to be sustainable as well. So we provide that education, sustainability education, you know, so that they know how to take care of themselves. When we've provided the systems and we've left, we don't want them to be stuck to say, well, I don't know how to use this system. We try to make it as simple as possible and as basic as possible.
Yeah.
But as with anything, you know, you have to provide that training. So education is very important, and which is why we use water as a gateway to get to women and girls, because we know that without water, girls will still continue to not go to school.
Yeah.
We want them to be educated. We want them to stay in school like boys and graduate and be providers in their communities, and also be entrepreneurs, hopefully, start their own businesses in the same communities, maybe somewhere.
That's great.
Yeah.
Great. So we kind of caught up with what's going on now. What's happening in the near future, say in the next year? Where are you headed with everything that you're doing in the next year?
In the next year, I see ourselves really growing our capacity mainly because we only have a few people working that, like the real people that, not real people, let me say like real activity from a few individuals that actually keep the organization going. You know, I'm talking about the key people like, you know, Beatrice Davis, who is championing the Music for Water. And this was her idea, you know. I learned recently that ideas can come from anywhere, from anyone. They don't have to come from me. So something that I learned. So I'm so glad that Beatrice came up with this idea. So like, you know, Rachel Svitanoff, who's also in the marketing and research division and heads the interns. But that's not enough. We need more people. And we have Nikia Glover and also Patricia Ellis. But we need more people helping. We have one treasurer, which, I mean, we really need just one. Tendai Mshambi is over that. But we need more people working for this organization. We have also like the advisory board. But I know that we could use more people actually working for the organization. And as soon as we grow our capacity and also have good funding, then some of these activities can be paid for the people that want to work full-time, for example, maybe not full-time, but part-time. That spend so much time on a lot of activities, they can be compensated so that they can stay, because I want to keep them. I don't want them to leave. I want them to stay here for this organization.
Right. I think that's the hard part about being the boss and the founder, is making sure that you have and keep good people. And know that it doesn't always have to live and die on your shoulders, because once you take that on, then the people that don't have as much investment in what you've got going on will allow you to take that on. And so they'll be, oh, it's okay, she'll take care of that. To make sure it all works. Been there, done that. This is terrific. And I love the fact that you're centered on clean water and didn't know that was where it was going to go. So, you know, allowing the people who are most affected to sort of drive the bus, if you will. is really important. It's like any business, you have to listen to the customers. You can't just assume this is what they need when you
Exactly.
really don't know.
Yeah.
So this is good. So in the next year, as you're growing and moving ahead, what types of people might you, other than that you need, maybe some advisory people, maybe some more team members, how do people get involved, number one? And number two, what one or two types of people would you think might really help you gain momentum going forward?
Yes. Advertising. I think the more people know about us and what we do, that's how we're going to grow and expand. Okay. And that's how we find our projects as well. Okay. Our projects, we don't usually just go out there looking for projects. People come to us because they know about us or they've heard about the work that we've done. So we're looking for those people that can help us not necessarily identify projects, but that can help us with, for example, sometimes we drill boreholes. We need people who can say, you know what, my company drills boreholes. We can collaborate and work together so we can drill boreholes for you so that our cost doesn't go up. Mm-hmm. It could be somebody that says, I have the water system that you're looking for. My company provides water systems. I'll be willing to work with you to provide those water systems. That's one way. That's one of the ways to provide the equipment and tools. Yeah. One other way will be to come in and actually work with us. We have so much work to do. The people that I have right now are stretched thin, because of working on campaigns each year. We could have more campaigns a year, but we don't have enough of the capacity to run the other campaigns that we want to run. So helping with the campaigns and also hashing out our ideas, making sure that they're solid and we have like a good, innovative ideas that we have where we need people to work on those to get them out, to make them come to fruition. Because I'm a person myself, I'm like a human being just like everybody else. I cannot possibly work on so many things at the same time. And I think that
Nor should you.
Helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I need more people on the team.
Okay. She needs some, wherever they are, they don't have to be local to you. Yes. And are all your projects right now pretty much centered in Zimbabwe, or are they other places?
They are centered everywhere. They're centered in the US and in Zimbabwe. But I think in the next few years, we're going to grow into the other countries as well. I have to mention also that for what we do, because it's all nonprofit, it's charity work, we also need funding, to sustain our growth and to sustain, just our growth really and our work, so that we don't have to wait. That way we don't have to wait when we're given a project. We don't have to wait and go to fundraising again. We can say, you know what, we have money already that we can support this project. So we're looking for funding for those projects that we have at hand.
Philanthropists like your dad.
Yes.
And in this case, because you're a nonprofit, grants as well. So if anybody out there listening to this knows of any grants that might be useful, I know there are certain grants for certain things. I feel like water's got to be one of those. I've heard about them in the past. So if you're listening to this and you know of something, please get in touch. We are going to drop Lumbie's website link in the bottom of this YouTube video, if that's where you're watching it. If you want more information and some pictures, some more links on how to get a hold of Lumbie, then go to www.frontrunnersinnovate.com and you're going to find more information along with this video as well. And you can certainly share the video. We allow you to do that. We're going to share it with our business partners at Black Women Empowered Organization. So it'll get to Roku and some of the outlets that they have, because they're a media platform too. So thank you, Lumbie. Thank you for all that you're doing. This is awesome. Hang on the line after we get through, and I'll talk to you a little bit more. But this is so needed when it gets to the place where you find somebody who has the heart for doing what they're doing, and they really didn't have the professional background for getting them into the kind of work that they're in. Then that's a special kind of somebody. So thank you again from the bottom of our hearts. for all that you're doing. So
Thank
everybody,
you.
check in on Lumbie, do what you can to be support. Thank you, and we'll see you again on Frontrunners Innovate. Thanks.